Alex sat on the worn couch, staring at the blank wall in his apartment. Outside, the city was silent. Normally, even in the evening, he could hear the hum of cars or the chatter of neighbors. But the lockdown had emptied the streets. Shops were closed. Parks were closed. Even the small cafe across the street had its lights off. Alex sighed. It had been a week since the city's strict restrictions began, and already the walls of his apartment felt like they were closing in. He glanced at the empty chair across from him. It had once belonged to him alone. Now it was occupied by Zira, his alien roommate. Zira was humanoid in shape, but everything else about her screamed alien. Her skin shimmered faintly in shades of blue and silver. Her eyes were larger than normal humans, and her hands ended in delicate, flexible fingers that could stretch in ways Alex didn't even understand. "Are you okay?" Alex asked, trying to keep his voice calm. He didn't want to sound nervous, but sharing a small apartment with an alien during a lockdown was unusual, to say the least. Zira tilted her head, her large eyes blinking slowly. "I am adjusting," she said softly. Her voice had a musical tone that made the words sound like a song. "This environment, it is restrictive," Alex nodded. He understood. He too felt trapped. But for Zira, this was worse. She had traveled across the galaxy to study human culture, and never imagined being stuck in a small apartment with a human she barely knew. For the first few days, things were manageable. Zira kept mostly to her side of the apartment. She ate strange foods, some freeze-dried human meals, some exotic alien ingredients Alex didn't recognize. She had unusual habits like stretching her limbs in ways that made Alex's jaw drop, or humming softly to herself in a language he couldn't understand. But yesterday, Alex had noticed something strange. Zira had been restless. She paced the apartment more than usual. She avoided sitting, fidgeted with her hands, and occasionally muttered in her alien tongue. "Are you uncomfortable?" Alex had asked carefully. Zira's ears, or what looked like small ridges on the side of her head, twitched. "Perhaps," she admitted. "It is a cycle, one that occurs periodically for my species." Alex frowned. A cycle? He had never taken biology beyond high school, and even then it didn't cover alien species. "What kind of cycle?" Zira hesitated. "A heat cycle. It causes increased energy sensitivity and strong instincts. It is natural. It is temporary." Alex felt a small panic rise in his chest. He had read about alien biology in his science books, but never in practical terms like this. "Wait, are you saying this will affect the apartment?" Zira's eyes widened. "Potentially. That is why I try to control it. But confinement makes it challenging." Alex ran a hand through his hair. This was going to be complicated. Very complicated. The apartment was small, only 2 rooms, a kitchen, and a bathroom. Social distancing wasn't possible. Not that it mattered, there was only him and Zira. The day passed slowly. Zira tried to focus on her studies, floating her hands over a tablet that projected holographic data. But her restlessness was clear. She stretched, paced, and sometimes hummed a soft vibrating sound that resonated through the walls. Alex tried to stay calm, keeping his own space as much as possible, but the apartment was shrinking with every movement. By evening, things started to get unusual. Zira's movements became sharper, faster. A sudden twitch made a cup slide off the counter. She reached out instinctively to catch it, knocking over a stack of books instead. "I'm sorry," Zira said, her voice trembling slightly. "It is difficult to control." Alex hurried over to pick up the books. "It's okay, just try to calm down. Can I help in some way?" Zira paused, her large eyes studying him. "Perhaps you can learn my methods to help me channel energy." Alex blinked. "Methods?" Zira's hands moved gracefully as she demonstrated a series of stretches and slow breathing exercises. Her limbs moved in ways Alex had never seen a human move. He tried to follow along, stretching awkwardly and nearly losing his balance. Zira let out a soft laugh, a sound like wind. Chimes, and Alex realized she was trying to make it less stressful for him. The evening passed with Alex awkwardly, mimicking Zira's stretches while she hummed, softly, and occasionally made adjustments to his movements. It was strange. It was exhausting. But for the first time, Alex felt a connection, however small, with the alien who had been so foreign just a few days ago. Around midnight, Zira's energy seemed to peak. Her eyes glowed faintly and her body emitted a soft warmth. She moved rapidly to the window, scanning the empty streets outside, then back to Alex. I need to release energy, she said quietly. Alex froze. Release energy? Zaira nodded. It is natural. It is temporary. You do not need to fear. Alex swallowed hard. He wasn't sure he fully understood what that meant, but he trusted her. He had to. They were trapped together. Okay, I trust you, he said. Zaira smiled faintly. Good, your calmness helps. It is rare in humans. She moved to the center of the apartment and Alex stepped back. She raised her arms and began a rhythmic movement, almost like a dance. The floor vibrated slightly under her feet. The air around her shimmered as if it were charged with energy. Alex watched, fascinated despite his nervousness. He had never seen anything like this. It was beautiful and powerful and terrifying all at once. After several minutes, Zaira slowed. The apartment returned to normal temperature. The hum of energy faded. She collapsed onto the couch, exhausted but calm. Alex approached cautiously. Are you okay? Zaira nodded, her glowing eyes dimming. Yes, thank you. For allowing space. It helped. Alex nodded, feeling a mix of relief and awe. You're welcome, I guess. For the rest of the night, they sat in silence. The apartment felt smaller, yes, but less lonely. Alex realized that even though Zaira's biology was alien and unpredictable, her struggles were real, and she needed support just like any human. By morning, Zaira was calmer. She moved gracefully around the apartment, preparing breakfast, some strange alien dish that smelled oddly sweet. Alex ate hesitantly, unsure of the ingredients, but found that it was surprisingly tasty. You handled last night well, Zaira said softly as they ate together. Alex shrugged. I didn't really have a choice. You needed help, I guess. Zaira's eyes glimmered faintly. It is rare. Most humans would panic or avoid me. You adapted. That is remarkable. Alex laughed nervously. Adapted, huh? I guess lockdown training helped. I've been alone for weeks after all. Zaira tilted her head. Perhaps. But your patience and your willingness to observe, it is very human, very admirable. Alex felt a small warmth in his chest. He had never thought of himself as remarkable. But seeing Zaira's gratitude, her trust, he realized that humans had a way of surviving, adapting, and helping that could cross even species boundaries. The day passed slowly, as all lockdown days did. They spent time learning from each other. Zaira explained some alien customs, some of her biology, and even gave Alex tips on how to calm her during future cycles. Alex taught her about human music, movies, and cooking. Laughter occasionally filled the apartment, breaking the monotony of isolation. But despite the growing friendship, Alex knew challenges were ahead. Zaira's heat cycle was not over. He had seen its peak. He had felt its strange energy in the apartment, and though he wanted to help, he wasn't sure if he could handle the next phase. That night, as he lay in bed, he heard the soft hum of Zaira in the living room. It was a calming sound now, but it reminded him of the unusual reality they were living, trapped together, forced to coexist, yet slowly learning to understand each other. Alex smiled faintly. He didn't know what the coming days would bring. Chaos, frustration, strange alien energy bursts, probably all of the above. But he did know one thing, he was not alone. And somehow in the middle of a lockdown and an alien heat cycle, that made everything feel possible. The next morning, Alex woke to a quiet apartment. The sunlight streamed through the curtains, touching the walls and the furniture. Zaira was already awake, sitting cross-legged on the floor, her hands hovering over a small glowing tablet. She looked calm, focused, and almost serene. Morning, Alex said, rubbing his eyes. You're up early. Zaira tilted her head, her large eyes sparkling. Morning, Alex. I am preparing. Yesterday's cycle required energy. I must study methods to control future cycles. Alex sat down on the couch, sipping his morning coffee. Methods like stretching and breathing like yesterday? Zaira nodded. Yes, and more. Techniques from my planet. For mental focus, emotional control, and energy direction. Alex raised an eyebrow. Energy direction? She gave a small smile. Yes, my species can direct energy through gestures, breathing, and movement. It is safer when confined spaces are involved. Alex swallowed. He didn't fully understand, but he trusted her judgment. After yesterday's peak, he had seen the potential chaos Zaira's energy could create. and he wasn't about to have another stack of books, cups, or lights get knocked over. For the next few hours, they moved carefully around the apartment. Zyra demonstrated a series of controlled movements, slow rotations, and specific breathing patterns. Alex tried to follow. He stumbled a few times, tripping over his own feet or hitting his knee on the coffee table. Zyra laughed softly, a musical, calming sound. "Patience, Alex," she said. "Focus, observe. Not all humans are..." "Clumsy," Alex groaned. "I feel very human right now." Despite the awkwardness, he found the exercises relaxing. There was something soothing about focusing on his breathing, stretching his body and trying to match Zyra's flowing movements. He realized that humans were adaptable creatures. Even if these exercises were alien, he could learn them. By noon, Zyra appeared restless again. Her ears, or what looked like small fins on the sides of her head, twitched continuously. She paced for a few minutes, muttering softly in her alien language. Alex watched her carefully, noting the signs: quicker movements, sharper gestures, a soft vibrating sound in her chest. "Alex," Zyra said suddenly, her voice tense. "I feel heightened." "The cycle is beginning to rise." Alex's stomach tightened. He had been preparing for this, but knowing it was happening didn't make it easier. "Okay, what do we do?" Zyra took a deep breath and turned toward the center of the apartment. "We channel it. You must follow carefully. Observe and respond." Alex nodded. He didn't fully understand, but he trusted Zyra's instructions. He had seen her power yesterday. The apartment had survived. He hoped it would again. Zyra began with slow circular movements. Her hands glowed faintly and a soft hum vibrated through the air. Alex watched closely, trying to mirror her actions. He stretched, twisted, and breathed deeply, feeling the energy in the room shift. As the cycle intensified, Zyra's movements became faster, more forceful. The table wobbled under the pressure, and the small floating holograms flickered. Alex held his ground, keeping his focus, and followed her gestures. He noticed small things, tiny shifts in her stance, the way her eyes changed color, that indicated what would happen next. "Careful," Zyra warned. "Do not interfere with flow. Only guide." "Direction," Alex nodded. "Got it." They moved in rhythm together. Zyra's alien energy pulsed, but Alex learned to anticipate it. He held objects in place when needed, guided her gestures with subtle pushes of air or small adjustments, and kept the environment safe. He marveled at his own capacity to adapt. Humans had always faced challenges, but he had never faced one quite like this. Yet he could do it. He could help. After an hour, Zyra's cycle slowed. She sat on the floor, breathing heavily but smiling faintly. Alex collapsed onto the couch, exhausted but exhilarated. "You managed well," Zyra said. "Your calmness. It helped stabilize energy. Most humans would panic." Alex laughed shakily. "I'm learning. I guess humans aren't just strong physically. We can adapt mentally too." Zyra's eyes glimmered. "Yes, that is admirable. Very human." The rest of the day was quieter. They ate together, exchanging stories about their lives. Zyra talked about her home planet, her studies, and her species' customs. Alex shared his experiences as a human, growing up in a city, lockdown life, and small joys like music and coffee. Alex realized that despite the alien differences, Zyra was not so different. She had emotions, struggles, and needs just like any human. The heat cycle was unusual, yes, but her restlessness, frustration, and desire for calm were universal. In the evening, Alex decided to take a break from studying Zyra's movements. He turned on a music playlist, soft human tunes to fill the apartment. Zyra tilted her head at the sound, curious. "Music. What is this?" she asked. Alex smiled. "Human music helps us relax, focus, or sometimes just pass time. Want to try?" Zyra nodded. She sat cross-legged on the floor, listening carefully. Her eyes glimmered faintly as she tilted her head in rhythm. Alex chuckled. It was strange and fascinating to see an alien respond to music so naturally. Hours passed. The apartment felt less tense, more alive. They moved around, did small chores, and experimented with alien-friendly exercises and human routines. Alex felt proud of himself. He was managing the situation. He was keeping both Zyra and the apartment safe. But just as he began to feel comfortable, Zyra's ears twitched suddenly. Her body stiffened and the soft hum returned. Alex froze. He had seen this before. It meant the cycle was entering a more intense stage. "Alex," Zyra said, her voice sharp but calm. "Prepare. The energy will rise quickly. You must stay focused." Alex's heart raced. "Right. Focus. Observe. Guide." Zyra began her movements faster this time, her energy stronger. The air shimmered around her. Lights flickered and small objects vibrated on the counters. Alex held his ground, carefully adjusting positions, guiding the flow and stabilizing the environment as best as he could. Minutes felt like hours. Sweat dripped from his forehead. His arms ached from holding and moving objects. His legs trembled from balancing, but he continued. He noticed subtle changes in Zyra's gestures, the way her fingers curled, the way her eyes shifted, that indicated the next phase of her energy. "You are learning quickly," Zyra said, her voice strained but proud. "Your adaptability? It is very human." Alex managed a tired smile. "Thanks, I guess humans can handle more than we think." Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Zyra slowed. Her energy pulsed one last time, then faded. She collapsed onto the floor, breathing heavily but relieved. Alex sank beside her, exhausted but triumphant. "You did well," Zyra said softly. "We both did well," Alex nodded. "Yeah, teamwork. Humans and aliens can manage together." For the rest of the night, they rested. Zyra's heat cycle had passed its peak, and the apartment felt calm. Alex reflected on the day. He had learned that humans had patience, observation skills, and adaptability that could even help an alien navigate her most intense biological challenges. Zyra watched him quietly, her glowing eyes soft. "You understand more than most humans. Even myself, it is impressive," Alex chuckled softly. "I'm just trying to survive lockdown with an alien roommate. That's all," Zyra smiled faintly. "Perhaps surviving together is more valuable than either of us imagined." As Alex lay in bed that night, listening to the soft hum of Zyra's calm presence in the apartment, he realized something important. Life was unpredictable. Alien cycles, lockdowns, and strange situations could all happen. But humans had a way of adapting, learning, and helping others, even beings from another world. That was remarkable. That was very human. And for the first time since the lockdown began, Alex felt a sense of hope. Not just for surviving the days ahead, but for the friendship he was building, the lessons he was learning, and the adventure that awaited him and Zyra in the days to come. The apartment was small. The city outside was empty. But inside, a human and an alien were learning to coexist, adapt, and care for each other. And somehow in that quiet, strange world, everything felt possible. The next morning, Alex woke to a strange silence. Zyra was sitting at the center of the apartment, her legs folded beneath her, hands resting on her knees. The soft glow of her skin was dim, but her eyes held a sharp focus. "Good morning," Alex said, stretching. "You seem serious today." Zyra's ears twitched slightly. "Morning, Alex. I am preparing for another phase of my cycle. Yesterday was moderate. Today may be more intense. We must be cautious." Alex's stomach tightened. He had hoped yesterday was the peak. But Zyra's species had cycles that could last days with rising and falling intensity. He nodded slowly. "All right. Let's do this together." Zyra inclined her head. "Yes, together. Observation, guidance, and calmness will be necessary. Your human adaptability will help." Alex felt a small surge of pride. He had survived yesterday. He could survive today. For the next hour, they moved carefully around the apartment. Zyra demonstrated the controlled stretches and energy exercises from her species. Alex tried to follow her perfectly, his arms aching from repeated motions, his legs stiff from balancing. But he noticed subtle signs: Zyra's posture, the glimmer of light in her eyes, the soft vibration in her chest, that indicated her energy was rising. "You are learning quickly," Zyra said, her voice soft but tense. "Most humans cannot observe so precisely." Alex managed a tired smile. "I'm trying. Humans can adapt when needed. Looks like it's needed now." By mid-morning, Zyra's energy began to rise sharply. Her body glowed faintly, and a soft humming sound filled the apartment. Objects on counters began to vibrate. Alex felt the subtle pressure in the air, a mix of warmth and energy that made the hair on his arms stand up. "Alex," Zyra said urgently, "prepare for intense flow. It will be strong. You must guide it." Carefully, Alex nodded, bracing himself. Got it, calm, focus, observe, guide. The energy surged. Zira's hands moved in complex patterns and the air shimmered with faint light. Alex mirrored her motions as best as he could, stepping carefully around the apartment. He held books, stabilized lamps, and made subtle adjustments to prevent objects from tipping over. The apartment felt alive with energy, almost vibrating under Zira's control. Minutes passed like hours. Alex's muscles burned, his chest ached from holding and moving objects, but he continued. He noticed the small changes in Zira, her breathing pattern, the slight flicker in her eyes, the way her glowing skin pulsed. Those signs helped him anticipate her next movements. You are remarkably human, Zira said, her voice strained. Your patience, observation, adaptability, and it is admirable. Alex grunted, trying to keep his balance. Thanks, I guess humans have to survive. Even in weird situations, the energy peaked. The air shimmered brightly, and a gust of warmth swirled through the apartment. Alex barely had time to move a small plant out of the way before it tipped. He realized how powerful Zira's cycle could be if left uncontrolled. Then suddenly Zira froze. Her energy pulsed sharply, a strong vibration that made the floor beneath them tremble. Alex instinctively held onto her wrist to steady her. The energy flowed through her in a rapid surge, almost knocking her off balance. Focus, Alex, she said through clenched teeth. Channel it. Help me direct. Safely, Alex did the only thing he could. He watched her closely, anticipating her gestures and moved objects, adjusted her stance, and whispered soft words of encouragement. He guided her energy without touching too much, allowing her to release the flow naturally. Minutes later, Zira's energy began to calm. The air settled, the object stopped vibrating, and the apartment returned to normal. Zira collapsed onto the floor, exhausted but relieved. Alex flopped beside her, breathing heavily. We did it, Alex said. Zira's eyes glimmered faintly. Yes, together, your human ingenuity, patience, and focus. It is remarkable. I trust you more now. Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had survived. He had helped. And somehow he felt closer to Zira than ever before. After a while, Zira got up slowly. We must rest. Energy is depleted. Human methods for recovery may be beneficial now. Alex nodded, letting out a long sigh. Sounds good. I could use a break too. They spent the rest of the afternoon in quiet activities. Zira taught Alex some alien techniques for calming the mind, while Alex shared human methods, music, light stretching, and even cooking simple meals together. Humans have clever solutions, Zira said, tasting a sandwich Alex had made. Simple, yet effective. I admire your species' adaptability, Alex chuckled. Thanks. Humans can be inventive when needed, especially during lockdown. As the evening approached, Alex noticed Zira growing restless again. Her ears twitched slightly and the soft hum returned. You seem restless, he said cautiously. Zira nodded. Yes, the cycle prepares for another peak, but it is manageable. With your help, Alex felt a small knot in his stomach. He had helped her twice today already. Could he do it again? But then he remembered the calm focus he had used earlier, the observation, the anticipation, the patience. He could handle this. He had to handle this. The next surge began gently at first. Zira moved with grace, her energy flowing around the apartment like a soft wind. Alex mirrored her motions, guiding objects, stabilizing furniture, and quietly encouraging her. But then the energy intensified rapidly. Lamps flickered, holographic devices wavered, and the plant Alex had saved earlier shook violently. He held his ground, adjusting quickly, his mind sharp and focused. You are extraordinary, Zira said, her voice breathless. I do not know if any human could guide so precisely. Alex smiled faintly, feeling pride and exhaustion at the same time. I told you. Humans adapt. It's what we do. The peak lasted longer this time. Zira's body pulsed with energy, her skin shimmering brightly. Alex noticed her subtle signals, her gestures, and the vibrations in the floor beneath them. He anticipated each movement, guiding the energy safely without interfering too much. Finally, Zira's body relaxed. The glow faded, the humming stopped, and the apartment returned to stillness. She sank to the floor, exhausted, and Alex dropped beside her, feeling drained but accomplished. You are very human, Zira whispered, her glowing eyes soft. Your patience, observation, problem-solving, it's incredible. I am grateful, Alex laughed weakly. I could just followed you. Humans are good at learning fast, when we need to. They rested together for a long while, the quiet hum of the apartment a comfort. Alex reflected on the day. He had faced an alien biological phenomenon, adapted, guided, and helped. And through it all, he had grown in patience, focus, and understanding. Zira eventually got up and walked to the window. She looked out at the empty streets, the dim city lights, and the quiet world. Your species is resilient, she said softly. Even in confinement, even with strange challenges. You adapt, you survive, you help others. Very human. Alex watched her, feeling a deep sense of pride. He had always thought humans were ordinary, but now he realized that humans had a unique strength. The ability to observe, adapt, and support, even in the most unusual circumstances. Thanks, he said quietly. I think we make a good team. Zira turned her eyes to him, her large pupils shimmering. Yes, we do. Together we can handle anything. As the night settled over the city, Alex and Zira found a new rhythm. They shared quiet conversations, studied alien techniques, practiced human routines, and learned from each other. The apartment no longer felt small or confining. It was a place of growth, understanding, and trust. And Alex realized something important. Humans could survive not just by strength or numbers, but by observing, learning, and helping those around them, even when they were completely different. That was true resilience. That was humanity. Zira's heat cycle had challenged him, pushed him to his limits, and tested his patience. But it had also revealed the best qualities of humans, the ability to adapt, care, and persevere. And in the quiet of the apartment, Alex understood that no matter what came next, he and Zira could face it together. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. Zira's cycle might rise again. The lockdown might continue, but for now Alex felt ready. Humans could adapt, humans could survive, and humans could help, even an alien, through the most unusual situations. The apartment was quiet. The city was still, but inside, two beings, one human, one alien had built trust, understanding, and a partnership that would carry them through anything. The next morning, Alex woke to a soft glow in the apartment. Zira was already up, sitting near the window, her eyes reflecting the early sunlight. She looked calm, but there was a quiet tension in the air. Alex could tell that today would be important. Morning, Alex, Zira said softly. Today, I wish to explore deeper understanding. Not just cycle control, but connection. You have learned much already. Perhaps we can learn more from each other. Alex blinked. Connection? You mean, like understanding each other better? Zira nodded. Yes, our species are very different, but trust, cooperation, and empathy can bridge gaps. We must try, Alex smiled. He had already learned patience and observation from handling Zira's cycles. Now he felt ready for something more. Okay, I'm in. Let's try. They began the day with a routine, stretching, energy control exercises, and quiet observation. Zira demonstrated movements, her energy flowing gently through the apartment. Alex followed carefully, noting her subtle cues. He could anticipate her gestures, her breathing, and the way her body moved with energy. You have improved remarkably, Zira said, her voice soft. Your human adaptability. It is impressive. You observe and respond without hesitation. Alex shrugged. I guess humans can learn fast when we need to. And we adapt, especially in difficult situations. Zira tilted her head. Yes, that is very human. Resilience, intelligence, and care for others, all present. As the morning passed, Zira began to hum softly, a musical vibration that filled the apartment. Alex watched closely. He had learned that the hum was not just sound. It was part of her cycle, a way to regulate energy and emotion. He mirrored her breathing, moving calmly with her rhythm. You understand more than most humans would, Zira said. Your focus and patience. It is rare and comforting. Alex felt warmth in his chest. He had never thought of himself as remarkable, but Zira's words made him realize that humans had strength in more than just physical ways. Observation, empathy, and adaptability were equally important. Around midday, Zira's energy began to rise. This time it was not chaotic. It was controlled, flowing like a gentle river through the apartment. Alex followed her cues, guiding objects, adjusting positions, and keeping the space safe. He noticed her subtle changes, the flicker in her eyes, the pulsing glow of her skin, and anticipated her next moves. "You are extraordinary," Zira said softly, her voice melodic. "Your human ability to adapt. It is remarkable. You do not panic. You guide. You support, that is, rare," Alex chuckled. "Thanks, I guess humans are good at problem-solving, when it matters." For several hours they moved in rhythm, practicing exercises, learning from each other, and observing energy flows. Alex realized that Zira's heat cycle, while challenging, was also a window into understanding her species. And by helping her, he was discovering the strengths of humans as well. During a brief rest, Zira floated a small device toward Alex. It projected holographic images of her home planet, vast blue skies, shimmering forests, and strange floating cities. Alex leaned closer, fascinated. "This is where I come from," Zira said. "It is. Very different, but life there teaches us. Control, focus, and balance. I see similar qualities in you. Humans can adapt and survive. With wisdom and care." Alex studied the images, feeling a sense of wonder. "It's beautiful, and I can see why you're so strong. You've learned to handle all of this, even on another planet." Zira's eyes softened. "Yes, but even I need support from those I trust. That is why your presence is important. You help me remain balanced. Human ingenuity, combined with trust, creates harmony." Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of responsibility. He realized that Zira trusted him not just for physical help, but for emotional stability as well. His patience, observation, and calmness had become vital in their shared space. In the afternoon, Zira suggested something new. "Alex, let us practice cooperation beyond cycle management. Let us combine human and alien methods to create calmness, understanding, and balance." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Sounds interesting. What do we do?" Zira guided him through a combination of stretching, breathing, and meditation. She explained the meaning behind each movement, how it connected to her species' energy, and why observation and adaptation were important. Alex followed carefully, feeling a strange but pleasant calmness. "You are learning, not just techniques, but understanding," Zira said, her voice soft. "You observe. Energy, emotion, rhythm, like a natural teacher. Very human and remarkable." Alex smiled faintly. "I never thought I'd say this, but I'm enjoying it. Learning from an alien during lockdown, it's strange but fun." Zira tilted her head, her glowing eyes reflecting curiosity. "Yes, unusual, but meaningful. Cooperation, trust, understanding. It transcends species. We can share knowledge and respect, which is valuable." As evening approached, Zira's heat cycle peaked slightly, but it was manageable. The apartment hummed with a gentle energy, calm and steady. Alex guided objects, adjusted her movements subtly, and maintained focus. Unlike previous days, there was no chaos. The energy was harmonious. "You have improved significantly," Zira said, her voice soft but proud. "Your guidance and presence allow me to manage naturally your human qualities, observation, patience, empathy. They are extraordinary." Alex felt a sense of accomplishment. He realized that helping Zira had made him stronger in ways he hadn't expected, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. Humans had a capacity to learn, adapt, and cooperate that could even assist an alien species in their most challenging times. Later, they rested together, sharing quiet conversation. Zira asked questions about human life, culture, and routines, while Alex asked about her home planet, her species' customs, and the meaning behind her energy flows. "You humans have remarkable abilities," Zira said softly. "Adaptation, intelligence, empathy, creativity, all combined, allow survival and growth. Very human and admirable," Alex chuckled. "I guess humans are stronger than we realize, especially when we work together, even with someone completely different." Zira's eyes glimmered faintly. "Yes, cooperation, trust and understanding, bridge gaps, even between species. We learn from each other and grow together." By nightfall, the apartment was quiet. Zira's energy had calmed completely, and the gentle hum of the apartment returned to normal. Alex sat on the couch reflecting on the day. He realized that humans were capable of more than just physical endurance. They could observe, adapt, guide, and support even in the most unusual and challenging situations. Zira floated closer, her glowing eyes soft. Alex, I'm grateful. Your presence, your guidance, your patience. It allows me to endure and learn and adapt. You embody qualities most humans do not realize they possess. Alex smiled faintly. Thanks, I feel the same. I've learned a lot about you and about humans too. Zira's ears twitched softly. Yes, understanding, cooperation, and trust are vital. You humans have these naturally, even when circumstances are challenging. Alex nodded. I never thought I'd appreciate lockdown this much, but learning, adapting, helping, it's meaningful and fun in a weird way. Zira's soft laugh filled the apartment, a gentle vibration that made the space feel warmer. Yes, unusual, yet fulfilling. Today we have grown together, human and alien, learning from each other and trusting each other. That is valuable. As Alex lay down that night, he thought about the days ahead. Zira's heat cycle might rise again. Challenges might come and the lockdown might continue, but he felt ready. Humans could adapt, humans could endure, and humans could help, even in the most unusual circumstances. The apartment felt different now. It was not just a small space for survival. It was a place of growth, learning, and understanding. Alex realized that human ingenuity, patience, and empathy were not just strengths, they were bridges. Bridges that connected species, minds, and hearts. And as the city outside remained quiet, two beings, one human, one alien, rested together, having learned more than techniques or exercises. They had learned trust, cooperation, and mutual respect. And in that quiet apartment, it felt like nothing could break the bond they had formed. Tomorrow, new challenges would come. Zira's cycle would continue, and they would face more obstacles. But for now, Alex felt a sense of accomplishment. He had adapted, he had learned, and he had helped, and he knew, deep down, that humans, when patient, observant, and caring, could truly rise to any challenge, even one as strange and alien as Zira's heat cycle. The next morning, Alex awoke to a sense of calm in the apartment. The city outside was quiet, the sunlight filtering softly through the curtains. Zira was sitting near the window, her skin glowing faintly but steadily. She seemed at ease, no longer restless or tense. Alex realized that today might mark the final phase of her cycle. Good morning, Alex, Zira said softly, her voice warm. Today, I believe the cycle reaches its end. I feel balance returning. Naturally, Alex stretched and smiled. That's good. I think we're ready. After all the practice and all the energy, we can manage this together. Zira tilted her head. Yes, together your presence, guidance, and patience have been invaluable. Very human. Alex felt a small surge of pride. He had learned so much about Zira, her species, and himself. Humans had an ability to observe, adapt, and support others even in unusual situations, and he had done it. They began the day with a familiar routine. Zira moved gracefully through her stretches and energy exercises, while Alex mirrored her motions carefully. The apartment seemed alive with calm energy, the soft hum of Zira's being harmonizing with the quiet human presence. You have mastered observation and adaptation, Zira said. Your human qualities are remarkable. Patience, empathy, focus, they guide energy and allow balance. Alex chuckled softly. I guess humans can handle a lot when we care enough. Zira's ears twitched, a sign that her energy was stabilizing. Yes, caring is very human and effective. It is rare in many species, but humans possess it naturally. By midday, Zira's heat cycle was at a gentle level. The energy flowed smoothly, calm, and controlled. Alex guided her carefully, adjusting objects subtly, ensuring the apartment remained safe and keeping her movements harmonious. Unlike previous peaks, there was no chaos, no intense bursts, just steady energy, a rhythm that mirrored trust and cooperation. You are extraordinary, Zira said softly, her glowing eyes reflecting warmth. You have learned Not just techniques, but understanding, trust, and guidance are human strengths. Alex smiled faintly. Thanks. I've learned a lot too. About you and about humans. We can adapt, observe, and help, even in strange situations. After a while, Zyra floated a small holographic device toward Alex. It projected images of Earth, familiar cities, parks, and landscapes. Alex looked at it and realized how much he had taken for granted before the lockdown. Now, seeing the world through Zyra's eyes, he appreciated its beauty and simplicity in a new way. Your planet is fascinating, Zyra said softly. I have learned much about humans through observation. Adaptation, ingenuity, empathy. Your species is remarkable. Alex felt a strange warmth. I've learned that too. And I've learned that even someone very different like you can teach us something important. The afternoon passed in quiet cooperation. Zyra and Alex practiced their combined routines, human and alien methods together, observing, guiding, and supporting each other. It was no longer just about controlling Zyra's cycle. It was about understanding, trust, and shared experience. Humans can achieve harmony, Zyra said, her voice soft and melodic. Adaptation, cooperation, empathy. It is natural, but often overlooked. You have shown me the strength of your species, Alex nodded. And you've shown me patience, focus, and perspective. We've both learned from each other. As evening approached, Zyra's energy stabilized completely. The gentle glow of her skin returned to normal. Her humming softened, and the apartment felt peaceful. Alex realized that the cycle had ended. They had survived, adapted, and grown together. You have been invaluable, Zyra said quietly, her eyes reflecting gratitude. Your guidance, patience, and calmness allowed me to endure and learn to control. Naturally, Alex shrugged. I just did my best. Humans are good at adapting when it matters. Zyra's soft laugh filled the room, a musical vibration that made the apartment feel warmer. Yes, your species can adapt and endure through patience, observation, and care. Very human and admirable, Alex smiled. He realized that this lockdown, strange as it was, had become a lesson in humanity. Humans could survive not just by strength or numbers, but by observing, learning, and helping others. Even beings from another world. I think we make a good team, Alex said softly. Zyra's eyes glimmered. Yes, human and alien. Working together. Understanding each other. Trusting each other, that is valuable. We have grown together. They spent the rest of the night in quiet companionship. Zyra explained more about her species' culture, while Alex shared human music, literature, and experiences. They laughed softly, exchanged ideas, and simply existed together, a harmony of two worlds in one apartment. As Alex lay down to sleep, he reflected on the days of the cycle. He remembered the panic, the chaos, the uncertainty, but also the growth, the learning, and the trust they had built. Humans had an ability to adapt, observe, and guide, even in circumstances no one could predict. Zyra floated to the window, looking out at the city. Tomorrow, we return to normal routines, but the lessons that remain. Observation, patience, empathy, trust, these are human strengths and they endure, Alex smiled faintly. I won't forget. And I won't forget what we learned, together. The next day, the lockdown rules were relaxed slightly. The city streets began to hum with distant voices, cars, and movement. But inside the apartment, Alex and Zyra remained focused on their routines. Zyra's energy was calm, controlled, and steady. No more peaks, no more bursts, just balance. You have helped me more than any guide could, Zyra said softly. Human qualities, patience, observation, empathy, they are powerful. You embody the best of your species, Alex laughed lightly. I guess humans are stronger than we thought, especially when we work together, even with someone very different. Zyra's ears twitched gently, a sign of contentment. Yes, cooperation, trust, understanding, these bridge gaps between species. And it is rewarding. By evening, the apartment felt lighter, calmer, almost serene. The strange tension of the past days had faded. Alex realized that they had both changed. Zyra had regained control over her cycle, and he had discovered new strengths within himself. They had adapted, survived, and grown together. Alex, thank you, Zyra said quietly. For patience. For observation. For care. For trust. You are very human and remarkable. Alex smiled faintly. And thank you, Zyra, for teaching me patience, focus, and perspective. I think we both grew through this. Zyra's eyes glimmered softly. Yes, together. We overcame. Challenges, learned, and adapted. Human and alien. Side by side. That is meaningful. The city outside was slowly coming alive again. But inside the apartment, a different world existed. One of trust, understanding, and mutual respect. Alex realized that humans had more than just strength and intelligence. They had adaptability, patience, and the ability to help others through unexpected challenges. And Zyra had shown him that even beings from another world could teach lessons about resilience, focus, and cooperation. As Alex drifted off to sleep, he felt a sense of calm and accomplishment. They had survived the cycle, the lockdown, and the uncertainties. Humans could adapt, humans could endure, and humans could help, even an alien, through the most unusual circumstances. Tomorrow would bring normal routines, new challenges, and the continuation of life outside the apartment. But for now, Alex and Zyra rested, their bond strengthened, their trust unshaken, and their understanding of each other complete. In the quiet apartment, a human and an alien had faced uncertainty, chaos, and energy beyond comprehension and emerged stronger, wiser, and connected. And Alex realized with a quiet smile that humans truly had a remarkable ability to rise to any challenge, no matter how strange or alien it might be.